We all remember playing with Lego as kids, but most of you likely put that aside when moving into adulthood. Today, there are millions of Lego enthusiasts around the world who continue to bring their imagination to life one brick at a time.
My earliest memories of Lego was when I was younger, probably 7 or 8, building Lego, creating my own builds, and it started from childhood. This is my Lego room. Let me show you around. So we have our Ghostbusters HQ here with our Ecto one just below that, and followed by our custom Ghostbusters train station with our Ghostbusters Fighting Slimer. Moving up here, we've got all our Lego modular buildings, also our custom concert stage. And then when we walk around here, we've got our massive Daily Bugle and pop culture area, and my favorite building, the Avengers Tower, which is the tallest building in the city. Then also we have our underground subway with our shops. In this area here, we have our Santa Monica, LA vibes. We've got our beach area with our apartments and shopping complex. How I've tried to give my city some sort of structure is thinking about some of the things that I actually want to include in the city. And one of those was an amusement park. So I really try to think of what I would see when I'd go to an amusement park myself and start to include that in the build. We have our roller coaster, we've got our Ferris wheel, carousel, all things that you'd see in your typical amusement park. The first time I lit up Lego was around 2016. I just bought a bunch of light kits. Once you add lights, it just really gives you a sense of realism. Like if you could shrink yourself, you could live in the city. So yeah, just the whole realism of it just really looks good. I've actually made my own little figure of myself in my city. At the moment, he's standing on a pier fishing, which I don't even do, but I tend to move him around depending on where I feel like he should be at that particular time. One of the rarest sets, the Lego Star Wars Death Star, I was able to find someone online that was selling it, and I actually didn't build it for another 3 years after that, and I ended up building it the year that my wife was pregnant, and I smashed it out over a weekend, so I think I sat for 20 hours. My favorite Lego set in the room is my Batwing. I'm a huge Batman fan, and when they released this set, I knew I had to get it and add it into my room. It's one of the focal points of the room when you walk in, and because it's my man cave, the most favorite part about it is I can turn it on with my phone, because I'm Batman. I love creating. I love seeing the awesome things that can be built just by using Lego bricks. You know, sometimes I come down in the room and I just sit, I put music on, and I could be building for hours. Like I don't even look at the time. Next minute I check my phone and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. It just takes you away from everyday life. If I charge my hourly rate to do this over, let's say, 13 years of collecting, I would be well and truly a millionaire.
Earlier in the show, Matt took us on a tour of his impressive Lego city. Above ground, it's home to many of Lego's most important sets. But beneath the surface lie some incredible builds, not from an instruction booklet, but instead from his boundless imagination.
Mock building, for anyone that doesn't know, is called my own creation in Lego terms. I saw people doing it and I thought, you know what, I want to give this a try. The two things that I actually really wanted to do once I started figuring out about mock buildings, I needed to do a Batcave and I really wanted to do a Ninja Turtle lair. That were like my two top builds that I had to do. Under the city, we have our Batcave mock. We've got the bat suit room, we've also got the bat gear and a trophy room where Batman collects all his villains' items. I wanted to have villains breaking into the caves, and then followed by this area here where the Batmobile will be coming through the entrance. I thought, you know what, I'm not just gonna have Lego pieces as a Bat computer, I need to step it up. So I added a little screen, housed it to make it look like a Bat computer. When I'm creating something on my own, I really try to first research on what I'm trying to build so I can try to make it as accurate as possible. So when you look at it, you can relate to it. Oh yeah, I've seen that in the movie. How I place all my mocks in the city, I try to make them fit where they'd make sense. Obviously, Ninja Turtles is a no-brainer. They live under New York City. So we've got the sewer hatch on the city level, which leads you down to the lair. Certain elements I wanted to include in it. I grabbed some inspiration from the 1987 Ninja Turtle cartoon that I grew up watching, and then obviously the 1990 movie that is one of my favorite movies of all time. I wanted to have their rooms where they sleep, and I had to have them color coordinated. I know Donatello has like a lab, his own little lab, so I've made a lab specific for him. Then a training pad, because Leo and Raph, they're always, you know, going at it, so I had to have a training mat for them. Mikey being the chilled one, I'm like, you know what, I need to have like a table with pizza, and he's got like a little PlayStation control chilling on a couch, and I decided to house a screen in the Lego. It looks like they're actually watching TV. One of my favorite movies is Empire Strikes Back, so I had to do the battle on Hoth. We've got the Rebel base with all the different rooms. Then we've got our snow speeders flying through to attack the AT-AT. And then I also added a Wampa cave, another scene from the movie, trying to just capture key elements from the movie that when you look at the build, you're like, oh yeah, oh my God, I remember that. He got stuck in the cave, or yeah, he's climbing up there trying to, like, you know, destroy the AT-ATs. I am a big Fast and Furious fan. Lego released Paul Walker's GTR, which is my favorite car of all time, and then the Dodge Charger. So when I bought those, built them, added lights to them, I was like, all right, I need to start getting all the rest of the cars. There was a couple of custom builds that I found online. I custom lit them up because obviously they all had neons. It was a big thing back in the early 2000s. There's some cars that I want to include in the collection, but Lego don't have the right color piece. So that's when I decided to build and paint one of the R34s in the original Bayside blue that the actual car came out in. It turned out amazing. Like, it looks exactly like you would see in real life. Then I'm like, you know what? I need a garage. I've got to make it look like they're hovering around like Toretto's garage. Got someone welding, so it's sparking, so they're welding an exhaust. A little office where Jesse's sitting there designing the Supra. Anything that I could think of that is supposed to be in a garage, I included. When I create it or when I design it and then I see it being built and put together, it just makes me feel really happy that I can actually come up with something like that and add it into my collection.